welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Standard, which is unusual for me, but there's a couple reasons for that. The first is I'm recording this on August 22nd, and as we all know by now, August 26th there was a banned and restricted update to all of the formats that I normally play, and I'm trying not to put any dead, irrelevant formats on the channel, so I have this couple day window where I gotta do stuff that's unlikely to be affected by the bans. Another reason, they just announced the Magic Tournament Spotlight Series, which is kind of a fancy word for bringing back Grand Prix. The first one's going to be in Atlanta next January, and the format's going to be Standard. I do plan to play in that, so I want to be abreast of the format. Also, this very week, at the time of I'm releasing this video, is Standard Store Championships, where the winner gets a full art Urza's Saga. That is a beautiful card and worth hundreds of dollars, and I would love to have one of those. So, a bunch of stuff converging means that you're getting a Standard video today. I've only done this one time before, and it was pretty well received, so shout out to the community for that. The deck I'm going to play today is Golgari Splinter Twin, which is a nickname, a little bit of a joke, but it's also true. The combo here is Innkeeper's Talent. Level 1, beginning of combat, put a +1 counter on target creature you control. Level 2, permanents you control with counters on them have ward 1. Level 3, if you would put one or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those type of counters on that permanent or player instead. That is the Pestermite to the Splinter Twin that is Vraska. Vraska arrives with 6 loyalty. If you have Innkeeper's Talent, she arrives with 12 loyalty. Her ultimate is -9, and her ultimate reads, if target player has fewer than 9 poison counters, they get number of poison counters equal to the difference. There's no way to apply poison in this deck, so they would get 9 poison counters, but those are counters that are put on a player, so they actually get 18 poison counters and die. You can also do the Phyrexian version of Vraska. She has completed, which means that one of her black pips, she's normally a 6-drop, you can make her a 5-drop +2 life, but the Planeswalker would enter with 2 fewer loyalty counters. But Innkeeper's Talent is a replacement effect, and so is completed, which means it's up to the controller of Vraska which order they would like to apply those in. They could put her in at 4 loyalty and it doubles up to 8, or they could put her in at 12 loyalty and it minuses down to 10. So even with the Phyrexian payment, you could still Splinter Twin your opponent for 5 mana. Of course, you need to sink 7 mana into the Innkeeper's Talent first, but Standard's a lot slower than Modern when Twin was legal, or Legacy when all our AB combos pop off, so you have time to do this. Innkeeper's Talent, in the meantime, just, you have Caustic Bronco in the deck. Draw some cards, hit, Deepcavern Bat, disrupt your opponent. Putting extra power on a lifelink creature is always relevant. Mosswood Dreadknight, draw a card, lose a life, then it's a 3/2. If it dies, you could draw a card and lose a life again and put it back into play. Glissa Sunslayer. When she deals combat damage to a player, you can choose one, draw a card, lose a life, destroy target enchantment, remove up to 3 counters from target permanent. And of course, frickin' Sheoldred, we know that one as Eternal gamers. After we lose all this life from Glissa and Mosswood Dreadknight and Caustic Bronco, it's nice to get some of it back. And that's the deck. We're just kind of Golgari Midrange rock, but also surprise Splinter Twin. There's a cool version of this that Luis Scott Vargas and Andrew Beckstrom were working on, and I saw them streaming it the other day. That gives up some of the Glissa and Sheoldred kind of stuff to put more value grind combos in the deck. The joke when Luis was streaming it is that there are 3 different Splitter Twins in his build, which is actually a joke. There's still only one, but there's a bunch more high value interactions at the expense of just solid cards. I'm going to play the stock list to get a feel for the format, and let's get into it. This is Golgari Twin. I'm on the play in round 1. My hand looks perfectly solid. It is fun as an eternal gamer who occasionally has to play standard and adjust to the speed of this format. This is a 4-lander with 2 cards that don't immediately impact the board, a 3-drop creature, and I'm like, yeah, this hand's great. Mulligan is so fast in Legacy. But we're doing something else here, and that's great. Innkeeper's Talent invested, I could play Glissa next turn, who would immediately become 4/4. I do have to be aware of my opponent over there, though. If I play Glissa this turn, I could double spell next turn. I could also just play Bronco and level up. Blue-black control is what I played at the last standard RC, and the blue-black control suite is very good. But it's very hard for them to double counter on 3 mana, so I'm going to try to cast 2 spells next turn. Oh, okay, flashing in Malcolm. This is not the blue-black control deck that I know. This is a different thing. Go for the throat, legal in the format. Cut down is not going to be able to kill Glissa, but we'll see what this Malcolm's up to. This is cool. I've never seen this card outside of Cube Draft. When this connects, they get to draw and discard a card, and they put I think it's a song counter on it. Chorus counter. And if there's 4 counters on it, they could cast this discarded card for free. It's a looter for a while, and then it's Mind's Desire. And already we're seeing why I want to practice this format. Look at that cut down discarded. I called that out as not killing Glissa. We did it. But knowing what counter spells I need to play around, what removal I need to play around, what this Pirate Siren deck even is, these are all important things for me to know if I'm going to play standard. Okay, now I have throats I could go for. Lots of tasty throats on this board. But now I have multiple options how to double spell this turn. I would kind of like to give Glissa Ward, but I don't know if that's gonna... If they have Go for the Throat, they could just play that. Let's just ramp Glissa up and get an attack for 5 through. Attack for 1 million, draw a card. Draw a card, lose a life. I love drawing cards and losing life. One more than the other. Very Mastermind, okay. So that's what their plan is. I can kill that and then resolve Caustic Bronco. I don't really want to feed them cards. I am more worried about that than I am about Malcolm getting to 4. Oh, that's way better than Caustic Bronco even. Gotcha. A Sholdred. That's spooky. Gix's command, destroy each creature with power 2 or less. I can get all my creatures bigger than that before they get this online. Second Fairy Mastermind. If they bat me, they can't Mastermind. If they just shove Sholdred, I'm in the most trouble. I'm going to take Sholdred. I think them drawing a land and shoving Sholdred there is just really bad for me. As like I said, this is kind of a lose life to draw cards theme deck, and if I lose more life when I draw cards, we got Exhibit over here. Yo dog, I heard you like losing life when you draw cards. Okay, if Bat takes Bronco, that is fine. Then I can double up Innkeeper's Talent onto Deepcavern Bat and make it bigger than Gix's command. And if they take Innkeeper's Talent, I have Bronco that I could start crewing and zapping them with. They also have Restless Cottage waiting. This is a 4/4. It's just huge, gigantic for a creature land. It also is Graveyard Hate and food tokens for passive life gain. They did take the Talent. That was the correct choice, I think, unfortunately. Nissa can slurp the chorus counters off of Malcolm. That's actually really funny. I don't want to give them Shouldered back, so obviously not blocking with my bat. That's going to be bigger soon. He discarded a Swamp. Fabled Passage. I don't play any landfall stuff in this build of the deck. The build I was talking about that LSV was playing does have the pinger. There's like a pinger with Offspring that has landfall, deal 1 to your opponent. My deck doesn't do anything of that sort. There's no Revolt in this format. I'm just checking. This is just an fair and honest deck thinning fetch land. Fountain Port, sack a token, draw a card. I don't currently have any of those. Restless Cottage makes them though. Pay a life, make a fish. That is a token. 4 tap, create a treasure token. I'm not doing any of that this turn. Their hand is Gix's command and Fairy Mastermind. I believe I'm going to just give up the information that I drew. Fabled Passage. So that isn't that important to me. And I'm just going to level up Innkeeper's Talent all the way to the max. Because that makes Deepcavern Bat 3/3 immediately. And we'll also give it Ward 1. And now, they could double block with second bat and Mastermind and kill my bat. I could just wait a turn and have a 5/5 lifelink. Yeah, I'm going to attack with my existing 5/5 first strike. And if this hits, I will remove all the counters from Malcolm. I don't want to feed them cards in this spot, and I know they have Mastermind. Malcolm, very far away from singing his song now. Sorry, buddy. And now I have the biggest creature on the board that also has flying and has lifelink. Yeah, Gix's command cannot clear Bat. It would clear Glissa. I don't want them to draw the land. That would be stinky for me. But this Gix's command is pretty low impact for a insane 5-drop spell right now. They mapped revealing Bat. I don't think they're going to want that. And now Malcolm is big enough to fight. Oh, they drew Gix for turn. That's a really good draw. I don't think they're going to blast these in. No, they're not. But Malcolm will draw a card, lose a life, and then loot a card. It's not worth my Bat. If Bat was just 3/3 lifelink, I probably would trade it, but I'm not about to give them Shieldred. I could also just draw Vraska and win at any point now. I'm at 5 mana. I'm at Innkeeper's Talent. Oh, my very own Shieldred. What's up? Okay, Fountain Port, Caustic Bronco. I would lose a life to cast both these spells. I don't want Shieldred to be my biggest creature, which means, yeah, I would put counters on Bat. Gix's command, raise Dead's 2 creatures. I don't think I care about that, especially if I'm Hellbent. Okay. Shieldred's in play. Bronco's in play. I'm going to put 2 counters on Deepcavern Bat. And Glissa is good to attack now. If Bat attacks, they have to block. So I'm taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the backswing. I would be at 15. That does trigger Gix 5 times, but Shieldred would deal 3 to them every time. 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't have a gang block that kills Bat. Yeah, I'm just going in. Full squad. Okay, I can remove this +1 counter and the chorus counter from Malcolm. I think that's better than giving them another card off Fairy Mastermind. Remove a +1 counter and remove a chorus counter. Poor Malcolm. He's trying so hard over there, but I'm not giving him anything. Bonus at 4, unless they go for the throat in the upkeep, which they did not do. This also means unless they clear Shieldred, they can't Gix this turn at all. Cool, we did it. Innkeeper's Talent, just fair and square. Making creatures bigger. Forget about Splinter Twin. We'll just do that. Okay, my sideboard. Let's lay these cards out and learn what they do. Liliana seems mid. They have a bunch of stuff like that 1/1 that makes a map that just is laying around. Choking Miasma does look like it would wrath their entire board. All creatures get -2/-2 for 1 BB. And for kicker, I can make one of my creatures bigger. Duress actually does not seem good because their deck is primarily creatures. Destroy each creature with power 2 or less. I mean, that's really powerful. This is the type of deck that might board in a bunch of negates, but my deck is also mostly creatures, so that might not even come out the way they want. I think Miasma is better than Liliana. I don't need, like, all of them. This isn't White Weenie or something, but they do have a lot of X2 and smaller creatures. Throwback doesn't have reach. The only graveyard synergy I saw was the Gix's command, which you don't really put it in your deck for 2 raised deads, but, I mean, it's there. You have to be aware of it. Nissa destroys artifacts or enchantments, or makes a bunch of big creatures on the ground. None of that is relevant in this matchup. And I don't think I need to add Terra Sunder for its kicker value when I already have 6 spot removal spells in the deck. Oh, I was supposed to take these Duresses out. Yeah, okay. I did account for that, I just didn't move them yet. Yeah, I think I'm into this. Let's do it. Okay. A nice little curve out. This time I have the Vraska. Splinter Twin in the bank. Fabled Passage from the opponent. Glissa. Now I'm curving out for real. Obviously what I do depends on what they do, but my plan is to curve Bronco into Glissa and then saddle the Bronco. And then just sort of sit on the Talon and the Vraska for a while. Deepcavern Bat. They're in the position with this that they have to take Go for the Throat, or else I just go for the Throw of the Bat. If they have good things to do on 3 and 4 mana, they might take Caustic Bronco, so I can't get on board and then have to spend a turn throating the Bat. Ew, throating the Bat. How big could it be? They did take that. And Caustic Bronco, I think, is better to have on board than Talent, knowing that this is a creature matchup. Gix, their engine's immediately on board. online. So they hit me for 1, they gain a life, then they lose life, draw a card. Another talent. I could just work my way up to Splinter Twin, but I think I need to do something to stabilize this board at all. Like, I could have played talent, leveled it up, put a counter on Bronco, it's a 3/3, and it has ward 1. But Glissa has First Strike and Death Touch, which is a combination of keyword mechanics that have an insane multiplier on them. Like flying plus First Strike, okay, you're better at fighting flying creatures when... Or you're better at fighting creatures when your first mechanic makes it so you don't really fight creatures. But First Strike, Death Touch, nobody's getting near me. They landed a Shieldred. I don't have any draw engines on board, which, small consolation. Okay, I lose 2 life to Shieldred. I could play 2 talents here, make both my creatures bigger, or just make Bronco 4/4. I could play 1 talent and start getting it leveled up. How does this actually unfold? So if I play 2 talents, I could go plus level 1, level 2, or level 2, level 3 next turn, and then play Vraska. I can't get a single talent up to level 3 faster than I can get 2 talents up to level 3, so I think I'm going to play 2 of them here. And just hope that ward isn't necessary. Just make sure this isn't legendary. It's not. Okay. So this gets Bronco out of cut down range and makes it big enough to tangle with Gix on its own, and then Glissa can control the Shieldred. Next turn, I can also turn Shieldred into a treasure. Vraska's -2 is target creature becomes a treasure. That does burn off my Splinter Twin value, but if they have a duress or negate or another bat, none of that matters. Definitely behind. This nice little disruptive curve out into their various engines shows the power of their deck. Compared to last game where they were just sort of playing bad creatures for a while, and by the time they got any of this going, it was too late. Go for the throat on Glissa, that's bad. That unlocks Shieldred. Oh no, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know what draws are left in my deck, but I will take 1 more draw before I concede. Gix's Command is my sweeper, Hissing Miasma is my sweeper. Neither of them hit Gix or Shieldred. If I had played and leveled up 1 Innkeeper's talent, but they had the land, so they could still go for the throat both creatures, yeah, that doesn't change anything. I did draw Miasma, and it's too late. I would have to lose 2 life to play Vraska for 5 mana, and then I'd be at 4, and they have 4, even if I turn Shieldred into a treasure. Okay. You got me. Now I get to be on the play. Is Liliana something I want on the play? Did I go overboard on Hissing Miasma, now seeing these more durable creatures? And I saw them last game too, but that curve out, Miasma wouldn't have even been good. Gix's Command might just be a worse choking Miasma in the list right now. Liliana is just better on the play too. Just give me a more critical mass of ways to remove Bat on curve, which gets me my cards back. Yeah, I think I'll just make that small change. Okay, talent and no real plan. Still going to keep it. Cottage go. Nice. Trust in the deck. Deepcavern bat. Take a look. 2 bats. Well, I'm losing my talent. Am I more worried about Gix, or I could bat one of their bats and then they have to choose between giving me Innkeeper's talent or Gix's Command? I am going to bat one of their bats. The double bat is rough. I was hoping to see 1 or 0 of those. This card's so good. Also a cube all-star. I take this much higher than I take Malcolm, for the record. Gonna lose the talent here, because that card would just smash open this board that I've tried to create. Draw another one. Choking Miasma. That is not helpful to me right now. Even if I put a +1 counter on bat, it doesn't solve my issue. Okay, yeah, I'll just pass. There's Gix. If they attack with this bat, I'm going to trade. Because that at least gets my talent back down. And I could start building up to a world where that does anything. Sick. Or I could just rip another bat and have it all. Okay. Bat. So I don't care if they bat me anymore. I'm a little worried about Shieldred. So I took Shieldred, put a counter on bat. It's a 2/2. Gix is still going to connect and draw cards here, but I'm starting to do stuff. Hey, they're attacking for 3. It's going to happen. Yeah, you drew another... Or no, we knew about that bat. That's fine. Both of the cards in my hand kill that bat. And not my bat. And Gix's command kills Gix here, though. Taking Miasma is interesting. I don't think Spell Pierce is in the format. Oh, wow. I think they might have messed up. I think they might have forgot that my bat's going to have 3 power, and I'm about to clear their whole board. That's good for me. Venomore Waste. Move to combat. Bat's a 3/3. They can't block it effectively. Might as well attack, get my lifelink in. They should chump it now. If they forgot that my bat's going to survive Gix's command, now it's on board. Nope. Okay. Cast. Destroy each creature with power 2 or less. Each opponent sacrifices the biggest creature they have. Boom. I have it all. I'm not really worried about these Restless Reefs. They're not going to mill me out. And I'm gaining more life than they're dealing, thanks to Bat with some extra stats on it. They do have this Tidebinder. If they just hold this forever, I can't Splinter Twin them, but leaving up 3 mana every turn when you only have 4 and I'm just ranching with talent, that's going to be tough. My Cottage is very close to waking up here as well. Okay, they found a Shieldred and mapped a land into their hand. It's good that Shieldred didn't get bigger this turn. Okay, Swamp. This costs 4 to activate, which means I can level up Innkeeper's talent and then make Restless Cottage 5/5. Or I could just get talent up to the max. I think I'd rather cause trouble with this land, though. Say 5/5, big enough to kill Shieldred. Attack, exile Gix from the graveyard. I don't want that coming back. I would happily trade this land for Shieldred at this point. They're at 9, I'm at 22. Tidebinder can stop Restless Cottage from waking up 1 time. If they let it attack once, they could stifle Tidebinder the food trigger, and then the land and the creature lose all abilities. But they have to deal with that 4/4 attack once, which is actually 5/5. That's a fun little layered decision to decide if fogging 4 damage once or stopping the creature land forever is actually more important. Gix's command, 2/+1 counters. All right, so I lose my bat, and Shieldred gets huge. 6/7 lifelink. Now we're gaming. And they just got another Shieldred in their hand, which doesn't matter till I deal with the first one. I lose 2 life here. I still think it's better to smash with Cottage and make a food than it is to get Innkeeper's talent up. Probably could have tapped better, but I don't think it matters. I don't think there's a 1-mana black or blue spell that can deal with a 6/6 in this format. I'm not winning the race. I am both taking more damage than they are, and they're... Oh, this doesn't have lifelink forever. It gains lifelink till end of turn. Okay, cool. So the Shieldred doesn't have lifelink forever, but I'm still taking more damage than them. I guess that depends on how many cards they can draw, because my Cottage is getting bigger every turn, and Shieldred's not gaining life. But if we're both hitting each other for 6, and Shieldred's gaining them 2, and I'm losing 2, they are way ahead in the race. Mirrex, that's scary. For 3 mana, they can make a 1/1 Phyrexian Might. And we're on a board where just random 1/1s are pretty serious. It can't block, but it can come after me. Okay, they're going big damage. This is 10, 11, 12. I may have forgotten about the creature lands when I fired in. I'm going to gain some life here. They can Tishana's Tidebinder, a food token. They just have to be mildly aware of that. Oh, they milled themselves. That's crazy. What are they doing with all that? Okay, I've continued drawing lands since the last time we had a chance to do anything. I think I'm just dead here because they could Tidebinder the Cottage activation, so I can't even block. 6/10 on board plus the shoulder trigger. Yeah, this was a tough run out here. We played a full 3-game set, playing long games where I didn't see a Mosswood Dreadknight once. That would have kept the cards and the bodies flowing. Okay, I mean, we're dead though. GG. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw in round 2 versus Edel. I don't know if this is Magic Hall of Famer Willie Edel, but if it is, hi Willie. I will keep my hand. Funny story about Willie Edel is at my first Pro Tour, the first draft pod that we drafted first at that event, it was draft and standard. And I sat down for the draft and Willie excitedly said, "Hey, I have your token," referring to my Star City Games Monk token. And then there were double face cards in that draft. And I was kind of, thinking about my pile going into pack 2 and the reveal period for pack 2. Like everyone was holding up their double face cards and Willie kind of like snapped his fingers to get me back on Earth so I could see the cards. Exclusively positive interactions. Okay, we got some Azorius Convoke here. Kept a 1-lander, but there's lots to do in this 1-land hand. Case of the Gateway Express. When this enters, deal 1 damage to target creature you don't control. Oh no, it's each creature you control deals 1 damage to that creature. It's not deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control. So if you have a creature with lifelink or something, that matters. And this turns into a soft anthem on the back end. You can do this anytime. I think I want to just go for the throw at this Warden before gets any more scries. He's scried to the bottom, currently playing on 1 land. And I know that the next land, the Case of the Gateway Express, could just hit my bat. Okay, had to map to find the land, but did get there. Glissa Sunslayer. Sucks I've drawn exclusively green sources that hurt me. Resolute Reinforcements. Makes 2 creatures, but not for 1 mana. This is a 2-drop. I think I can get Glissa in here and then use Innkeeper's Talent to keep her out of case range. That early stumble is really good for me. This is a flash creature. This has flying. I love a land here. Yeah, basic forest is the best. Okay, I'm gonna bat first. Get a refreshed look at this hand. Okay, 2 cases, 3 reinforcements. Got a full house over there. Understood. What does that mean? I think it means I take 1 of the removal spells, so it has to be used to fight the bat. Okay. Innkeeper's Talent will make Glissa 4/4. I can't save the bat here. If they want that dead, they can have it. Gonna bash. An opponent can decide if jumping to stop me from drawing cards is worth it. The answer is predictably no. I would like to draw a card and lose a life. And off we go. If opponent draws an untapped land here, they can kill Glissa, but then I could start piling counters onto bat because they are down to the 1 removal spell over there. They're only allowed to play 4 of those, and they've had 3 of them already in their top 11 cards. Resolute Reinforcements. Did they draw Knight Captain? Oh yeah, they did. Here we go. That's a good one. Knight Errant of Eos. Convoke out 4/4. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You can put 2 creatures into your hand with mana value X or less, where X is the number of creatures that convoked this. They found 2 Spyglass Sirens. Luckily, those are pretty bad creatures, all things considered. And I have the Splinter Twin ready, so I'm actually just going to level up the thing here to the max. I'm going to put counters on bat. I would like some lifelink. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10 damage on board. The Knight Errant doesn't fly. It looks like it's flying, but it's actually just surrounded by flying objects. And the lion is like jumping, but this does not actually have flying. I'm going to leave Glissa back. And we might have our first Splinter Twin situation of the day. Fingers crossed that it works. The Case of the Gateway Express is going to roast my Glissa. There is a ward trigger. So sometimes Magic Online automatically resolves competing replacement effects, just whichever thing is better for the player. Let's hope that's true now. Here comes Vraska. Uh-oh. Okay, apply replacement. Click a replacement effect to apply it. Innkeeper's Talent. Okay, and then Vraska. She does have 10 counters. We did it right. 18 poison. We did it! Splitter Twin! Yeah, having that twin mode, I was not winning that game otherwise without my sideboard. I mentioned like Boros, White Weenie, Convoke kind of stuff when I mentioned choking Miasma last round. This is definitely what this is for, like specifically. Liliana. awful here. Duress was like fine, I guess. Cut down could be the speed bump we need, but I think just leaning on sweepers is how I want to do this. I mean, go for the throat is worse than cut down, but go for the throat kills the knight errant, which is the one creature that my sweepers don't kill. And Gix will kill it. With the kill all small things, then edict the big thing. That works. Dreadknight, Talent, Bronco. Yeah, I like the rest of this. I'm not actually sure how good Duress is against this deck. I might want 4, I might want 0, but I'm going to go with just the middle ground of 2 as I learn the format. The first appearance of Mosswood Dreadknight. It's the 5th game we have played with this. It's a core card to my engine. But welcome to the game, Mosswood Dreadknight. A card I have played in at least Pioneer, maybe even as far back as Modern on this channel. Okay. Ooh, red mana revealed. Didn't see any of that. Jeskai? Where Jeskai could vote all of a sudden? Gleeful Demo. Yikes. This could be a Knight Errant. This is the nut draw. Well then. Let me tell you how much mana Gix's command costs. It's 5. Sanguine Evangelist, so a half of a whiff there. I do have to remove the 4/4, or it's going to kill me. This has Battle Cry, and when it enters or dies, make a 1/1. Which gives them a little bit of Wrath Insurance. Urbrass Forge, shit. Well, I'm never beating that. I didn't bring in my Terra Sunders. I wasn't ready. Boros Convoke was a big deck in the RCQ format last season that I did prepare a lot for, and I should have been aware of Urbrass Forge because of that. Okay, I'm not beating the Forge. Let's just go back to the sideboard. Terra Sunder is coming in, and I think I want Duress as well. That's just such an important card to deal with. Miasma can clean stuff up. I could shave on Vraskas. I mean, twinning them is good, but Vraska as a magic card is not very good in this matchup. Maybe I don't need 4 Duress. I'll bring in 1 more, and I need 2 more cuts. And Glissa seems extremely mid, but also seems like she's the type of thing that survives a choking Miasma and then goes ham on the opponent. Maybe Sheoldred's not that important here. The matchup's just not really about them drawing cards or coming up the board with a 4-drop. I have Wraths, Splinter Twin combo, and low-end interaction. Nissa can also kill Urbrass Forge, but she costs 5 mana and 4 life to do that. This is a 7-drop without the Phyrexian. That seems so unlikely to work. Okay, I will do this. Just +3 cards that deal with Urbrass Forge. I will keep my hand. I'm going to lead on Fabled Passage. If I draw the 4th land, I would rather save Passage, but if I take 2 draw steps here and don't convert, and I'm not able to Miasma on curve, that's going to be pretty awful. There's no answer to Forge here. I am aware of that. The Passage, I'm just going to get a Swamp and pass. Get my F6 value. No Strip Mines or Stifles to this format, except for Tishana's Tidebiter. There is a Stifle, it just costs 1 million. Opponent mulliganed. Novice Inspector. This is just Thraben Inspector with a different name. Double Miasma. I think I want to get Bronco in. I could go for the Throat this just to try to stunt their nut draw. But again, going for the Throat on the big one lets me Miasma the small ones. Warden of the Sky. There are 3 objects in play to tap here if opponent wants to just scry here. That immediately gets Warden out of Miasma range. That's annoying. Scry to the top. Okay, cool. I am happy finding land number 4. That lets me Miasma and save my Bronco next turn. Flip the land, the nuts. We're doing it. I am taking out this Warden. The card selection being too big for my sweeper. Disqualifying. They can shove Forge this turn, and then I need to dig crazily for a Terra Sunder, but didn't play it. And that's a card you play pre-combat. Sanguine Evangelist. Okay. The backup bat actually does beat my sweeper. Like, I don't get to attack with Bronco this turn, unless I want to trade Bronco for them to have no cards, which might be fine. Okay, choking Miasma. Con Queso. Okay. Their 1/1 does check my 1/1 that I was hoping to get a free attack through with. I don't want to trade a 3/3 Caustic Bronco for a bat token, though. I can re-miasma next turn. I can even follow up with a Deepcavern Bat. I have options next turn. Siren, 3 lands, still no sign of her Brass Forge, Gleeful Demo, Case of the Express. Okay, they're fully hellbent, and the board's going to get miasmaed into shit. It's not lost on me that the word miasma contains most of the sounds of my ass, so it is fun and funny for me to say, how's my asthma taste? Though you shouldn't say that. It's unsporting. They cracked their clue, starting to try to get back in this game. I'm drawing extra cards now. Bat ya. Let's see what those 2 cards are. Hopefully it's Brass Forge that they couldn't cast last turn. Resolute Reinforcement. Sorry, they got something in on me. What's that last 1 card in hand? Okay. Bat, 8 a removal spell. Mosswood Dreadknight and Innkeeper's Talent make my lifelink creature bigger. We've seen this one before. Okay. I am ahead. They have good draws, though. Like a Knight Errant would actually just fully reload them here. Okay, had enough. Didn't draw a good card there, and now too far behind. It is important to me in a deck that I select to be able to beat decks like Boros Convoke, because those decks are very powerful, and just as a player deep in the casual part of my brain, I hate them. I just think it's so annoying when your opponent could have just drawn a bad card, but then they draw Knight Errant of Eos instead, and you're just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Lucky Boros player. I'm giving you all a glimpse of the toxic back end of my brain and what I think about certain color pairings, but it is nice that an honest black deck with hand disruption and card draw could beat this deck. On to the next round. Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic. I am on the play in round 3. I have a perfectly fine hand here. Restless Cottage comes into play tapped all the time, so I'll lead on that one. And then I can bat on 2, hope I find an untapped mana before Glissa misses her arrival, but I have Fabled Passage after that. A mountain, okay. I have not experienced whatever the red deck in this format is. Oh my god. Demonic Ruckus, a card I've never seen. And that can't be true because I own a full set of OTJ that I registered into my collection. So I've obviously touched this card, but I have no memory of it. Plot Enchant Creature. Enchanted creature has Menache and Trample. When this is put into a graveyard, this card, draw a card. Okay. So this is probably a Sling Dog Gazillionaire deck. That's my affectionate channel nickname for Slickshot Show Off. I just say a different word every time I see it. Okay. We have 100 1-drops. When this becomes a target of spell ability, put a +1 counter on it. When it dies, domes me. Monstrous Rage, +2/+0, create a monster roll. Alright, so they're going to have some giant heckin' creature. I think I want to take this Heartfire Hero. This one doesn't have haste, though. But they have double Swift Spear, that doesn't matter. Okay. I'll take the Heartfire Hero. Though, I don't like my position in general. Innkeeper's Talent was a great draw, though. That gives me the potential to race them on life gain, as well as get my way up to Splinter Twin if I find myself in a giant hole a couple turns out. And missing on Nissa here, actually, or Glissa, actually does stink quite a bit because she is the type of unit that could freeze an entire ground army. And I'm just going to fetch a Swamp here and pass. So they have 3 damage in play, and then that could be 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 7 damage that I know about. I'm sitting here at 10 life, functionally. Heart Challenger, okay. That's another Prowess Idiot. Shieldred, that is not better than Glissa, I don't believe. Okay, so if I fetch, get a Forest, level up Innkeeper talent. Now my creature has Ward. Glissa has First Strike and Death Touch, which we've talked about the multiplier on that shit. I'm just going to make Bat bigger. And would I rather have 15 life or have a blocker? I think I'd rather have 15 life. Hope that doesn't kill me. Here we go. We played a Mountain from hand. Oh no, the Slingy Dang Gazillionaire. I wish I had a blocker. This is a lot of prowess triggers. Okay, am I dead? This is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm not dead. I block the largest creature I'm able to block. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, okay. I'm still alive. Still alive. Cling into a dream here. Mosswood Dreadknight is not a card I can afford to play. Monastery Spear has Menace. This has Trample. Their hand right now is Questing Druid, which is at least one spell next turn. My options here are play Dreadknight plus Talent, make my bat much larger. Yeah, I think I just want the biggest possible bat on defense and the most stats on defense I can get. Backup Talent, Mosswood Dreadknight, not Dread Whispers. Glissa doesn't need more stats. She's already perfect the way she is. Girl, you're amazing just the way you are. And Bat gets bigger. Do I want to give Glissa Ward? Because Bat's big enough to trade with Sling Dog Gazillionaire and gain life on the way out. This does have Trample and can get huge. I think just max lifelink is how I make this work. And I will not be attacking with any creatures here. This is the turn. I need to fade the top 3 cards of their deck being really good. Here we go. There goes the Beast being sought. They flipped a shitty creature and an ETB tapped land. That might have been the break I needed. No attacks. You love to hear it versus the prowess deck. We are stable. Okay, do I work my way up to Splinter Twin, or do I shove Shieldred? I don't think I shove Shieldred. That just doesn't do anything. I can get this one up to 4, and the other one add Ward, a second instance of Ward to my creatures. Now I get to distribute 4 +1/+1 counters, or 2 instances of +2/+2. It's not 4. Not quite the same. It's not how math works. I could just blast for 9 lifelink, and it would be up to Slickshot to deal 13 damage to me from 1 card in hand. And it's possible, I guess. I'm just going fudge enormous on this. All right, get in there, Deepcavern Bat. I don't think I could ever lose if I leave that back as a blocker. I may have just left the door open for something to happen. 13 life with 2 blockers is a lot, though. Just hoping for the best. This is gone. They can't cast that anymore. They could cast this. Doesn't come with haste on its own. 2 cards at hand. All right, we did it. Just naturally, Keeper's Tell. They will never know that I was ready to twin their ass too. Had it coming and going. Okay. Liliana actually looks good here because their creatures are not reliably going to be small enough for Miasma and Command. I think I might still need Miasma and Command though, unfortunately. Duress actually seems great here. If their creatures are just like dopes and they're not getting gassed up by insane draw 3, deal 5 combinations of spells, that's fine. Vraska's very bad. Innkeeper's Talent, very good. Lifelink creatures, Glissa, MVP there. Yeah, the problem with Miasma, I probably have to bring in some number, but if they just put one of their many auras, one of their many buffs on the creature, it just works. I think I'm going to go down to 1 Vraska here. And I'm not going to add a 4th Liliana. There's already 3 in the main. Do I go 0 Vraska? I think that's actually reasonable. Everything else is a removal spell or a cheap body that can get in the way of what they're doing, and Vraska is just like, if I happen to have sunk 7 mana into a different permanent earlier in the game, I can pay 5 mana and 2 life to turn something into a treasure. I don't know. Like, I think I'm off that. Frillback is a body that gains 4 life and destroys an artifact or enchantment. Actually, Frillback is great. How do I get this in here? Miasma might be a trap. I don't know that their cards are actually going to die to that ever. So this gives me a giant body with flexible abilities, giant body that gains life, giant body that stuffs the ground. I have to be judicious with my go for the throats and cuts downs to prioritize the Corn Dog Birdman. Make sure that doesn't get me. Terra Sunder is a generic removal spell if I get to 4 mana, but I'm already kind of out of deck space here. These Duresses might be a mistake, but I'm going to try it on the draw, and then might flip it to 2 mana spells if we end up back on the play. Okay, just 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, hope it's good enough. Definitely keeping, though. Plotted the Ruckus. Cut down, let's go. 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop. We found the line. Like, if they play that stupid mouse and try to Ruckus it, I'm going to cut them into dirt. Okay, they didn't Ruckus it. I will cut down to save 2 life. I considered taking 2 damage to see if they would second main it, but I could also just kill it. So I did. Bronco. Now I'm on board. This carve out's great if I could draw like some spells to follow it up here. If I find another Go for the Throat, I'm going to feel really good about the game. Okay. They are pumping up this hero. Not going to trade Bronco for that yet. The re-bronkening. Look out. No activity here. Just a grizzly bear. I'm unlikely to ever attack with this game. Though it is an important piece here because it gives me a second body to block this menace creature with, and then Glissa's First Strike can do the talking after that. Oh no. Discard a card, draw 2 cards, solve you have no cards in hand. Beginning of your upkeep, discard your hand, draw 2 cards. Okay, that doesn't kill Glissa. I was just worried that this would kill Glissa. It doesn't. Discarded Urabrask Forge. I guess Glissa just solos that too. Wow. And Glissa does everything. I've seen lists that play 4 of her, or 3 of her. I currently have 2. Maybe 3 is awesome. And now Sheoldred, just continue putting giant booties into play. And then not attacking or doing anything. Because that's not my job in the matchup. So this reads, discard your hand and draw 2 cards. Sheoldred, light them up. Plotted the Ruckus. Setting up a big turn next turn. Okay, can we draw a spell here? Yes, and it's a good one. Okay, I can play Fountain Port, Innkeeper's Talent, level it up, beginning of combat. And Glissa doesn't need the extra stats, but I do like her having Ward. She is the most important thing going on my board right now. And just dump out the other Bronco, because this is what we're doing here. Body's on the ground as my permanence trigger. End step Seek the Beast has revealed Sling Dog, Gazillionaire, and Mountain. Yeah, this card could actually do some damage here. Some real problems for me. I need an actual removal spell to deal with that one. And we're past the point where drawing a Liliana or a Duress would actually be helpful. Those are kind of early game objects, and the opponent just has an extra shitty body. They can sack to a Liliana. Their hand is close to empty. Seeing where we are in this game right now, I think I don't want Duress. But we also saw Urabrask Forge. But Terra Sunder is what I would have put in instead of Duress. And I talked about having higher cost answers to different stuff if we're on the play than Duress, where I'm just trying to like slow them down on the draw. I'd love to draw Terra Sunder right now. I would hate to draw Duress right now. Yeah, I'm definitely going to make that change if there's a game 3. I'm also on 0 Vraskas, but we've also brought the game to a spot where Vraska would actually twin them. Okay, maybe I should have some number of Vraskas in, like cut the Duresses, get in 2 Terra Sunder, 2 Vraska for game 3. The Ruckus is going on to the Heartfire hero, which means they must have some answer to Glissa prepared. This is terrifying. Okay, I mean, I'll block Swiss Spear with my Death Touch creature. I'll Menace up with the First Strike, and the 3/2 is going to come through, and we'll see what the trick is here. It has to be a 1-mana way to deal with a 4/4, because Glissa does have Ward 1, and they only have 2 mana up. Okay, yep, that does it. Cost 1 less for each creature that attacked this turn, deals 5 damage to target creature. Yep, they solved it. I am now aware of that card. I was vaguely, and now it's back on my radar. That was a pretty mid-turn, though. And considering they cleared the Glissa and pushed a bunch of damage, it still wasn't that impressive. Can I afford to lose a life here? Or I don't lose a life, I gain a life, actually. Hell yeah, I can. Dread Whispers. Find the Swamp, just what I wanted. A Mosswood Dreadknight, you could get in here. Who do I want to make bigger? I think I want to make Caustic Bronco bigger, and maybe... Oh, I forgot to saddle as in This is as a sorcery. I meant to saddle this. That was bad. Okay. I can't block with any of my creatures anyway. Yeah, I meant to saddle that. That was a huge mistake, but here comes my attack. Okay, I take one instead of they take one. And then duress you. Urbrass Forge, get out of here. So they have Mouse Guy, Mouse Heart Challenger. I just cleared the wrong card. It's fine. It's fine. I'm losing my mind, but we're good. So they have 5, 6, 7, 8 damage that I know of, because the Mouse Heart Challenger is over there. If they draw a spell, that is an additional 3 damage, which still does not kill me. My Mosswood Dreadknight, although I forgot to saddle, having it back knowing they have a haster on the ground in hand is pretty good. Yeah, I don't feel that bad. Stripping that Urbrass Forge was nice. Maybe duress is great. One turn ago, I was like, oh, duress was a huge mistake, and now I'm like, oh, Urbrass Forge is gone. That's good. Rockface Village was their draw, so their hand is Mouse Heart, homie. Target lizard, mouse, or otter, or raccoon gets +1/+0 and haste, so they can buff this, which also makes it bigger. Forever. I don't think they can afford to attack with this. They shoved it into the red zone, then backed it off. I don't think you're going to win a game where that is not available to block. Children's really good. Do people know that at home? Do we need to have the conversation about how good this card is? This thing costs like $75 in real life. Crazy. Everybody wants it in every format. Remember when Sheoldred was previewed? She was the last of the Praetors to be revealed, like the, make your stuff worse, make my stuff better Praetor cycle. And everyone was like, boring. But actually, it was just heckin' cracked. Speaking of heckin' cracked, I can ultimate them with Liliana right now. Speaking of Splinter Twin. Boom. She's on 6, and she has Ward 1. Get wrecked. What does this do? It deals 6 to each opponent when it dies. Alright. I don't care about that. That doesn't kill me. Alright. I'm going to destroy many of your permanents here. And, alright, how do I make these piles? Slick shot show off. Alright, they just scooped. Splinter Twin, baby! On to the next round.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables.
I'm on the play for round 4. I'm going to keep my hand, though it does need a couple lands. Double Vraska's kind of a mulligan already, but that's fine. Standard decks play a lot of lands because they know they're going to need them. There are 26 in this build. Compared to Legacy, when I'm playing 21 lands because I'm a very mana-hungry deck. At 26 in this beast. Look how easy that was. They're always there if you build your deck to have them. Play against the Lush Portico strategy. Okay, so this is Domain. I'm going to be very interested in Splinter Twinning this deck because they're nothing but card draw and Wrath of Gods. It's like their whole shit. I'm going to take Archangel because I can't take them off anything else. Hard Migration is cool. It's a 7-mana finisher that you can also discard to tutor a basic land, put it in your hand, gain 3 life. They have 3 of those and a Nissa. Ooh, another Bat. I think getting Glissa in is better than Bat. And I'm just going to hope they don't draw a removal spell in the last draw step since I've looked at their hand. And now knowing that this is Domain, the double Vraska, I could just kind of fair and square the first one and just proliferate, draw cards. The 0 is you draw a card, lose a life, and proliferate. That's fine. This is an Up the Beanstalk deck. It's a Leyline Binding deck. Lots of removal, lots of sweepers. There's the Backstreet. It's back, all right. They did not want Meticulous Archive. I do want to draw cards. Please connect Glissa. Please land drops. Draw a card, lose 1 life. Please land, please land, please land. We did it. And I feel like at some point it becomes risky to keep adding creatures to the board against this deck, but I also do want to bat them again. Oh god, what is this? Return target non-battle permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay. I mean, that doesn't do anything yet. I'm going to take Nissa. Okay, if they ever wrath me, I am in the garbage. But I am doing stuff right now. I have 2 draw steps to hit an untapped land and deploy Vraska. Then I'm doing stuff. Hedge Maze. Dump to Cavern of Souls. Up the Beanstalk. They found an engine. Another bat. I don't want to cast that. I want to cast Vraska. Draw a card, lose a life. Oh no. Removal flooded. I will be boarding all of those out, by the way. Okay, Herd Migration, whatever this is. Another Up the Beanstalk. I think I want the other Up the Beanstalk. This thing, the only permanents in their graveyard are lands. Okay, Up the Beanstalk is taken. By the seat of my ass, I fly. Please don't cast Sunfall. Heaped Harvest, okay. That's a rampant growth that gains 3 life eventually. I have full information about their hand right now. Liliana. That is a card I can cast if Glissa doesn't deliver a land here. Also notice I've just been teeing off on them every turn and their life total is still 13. This deck just has so much passive life gain, it's crazy. Okay, I'm going to Dread Whispers into Dreadknight. Restless Cottage, we found land number 5, Dreadknight. My first creature that isn't just heckin' gone if they wrath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can make 5 3/3s next turn. And draw a card. Luckily for me, I have 3 Go for the Throats in my hand. We'll just mash through that on the fair. Okay, they've migrated their herd. 5 3/3s. Now decisions. First Strike plus Death Touch, completely cracked. They'd have to block with 4 beasts to beat 1 Glissa. Just going to attack with everything. Their shit doesn't fly. I don't care about trading off with Dreadknight. Okay, they're just mash blocking Dreadknight to make sure I don't removal spell and trample them. Okay, that's fine. I'd like to draw a card and lose a life. Duress, let's go. That card's good against this deck. Duress you. Let's look at that hand again. Leyline Binding. The Invasion is also Leyline Binding, but this is 5 mana for Leyline Binding, where this is 1 mana for Leyline Binding. I'm going to take the Binding. 2 cards in their hand right now. They don't care about Heaped Harvest. Vraska would just die if I played her. I'm at 25. That's a lot of life. I'm going to Dread Whispers. Shieldred, what's up? I like that card. And Dreadknight can come back down. Okay. It's tight. It's crazy. Where they are hitting their stride, and it's really the top of their deck versus my existing resources at this point. Yep. Invasion, which if they challenge the invasion, would leave some of their blockers back. And I have 2 removal spells. It would take 3 attacks to clear this. Okay, so they get to clear this. This makes a 1/1 and gives their squad lifelink. I go for the Throats, beat that, and I have... Alright, this counts as casting on the backside too. That's so sick. Beanstalk triggers again. Heaped Harvest. Alright. Maybe that battle is actually unbeatable. I may have made a mistake. I am exactly 1 damage short of killing my opponent right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means I can't Shieldred them out. I'm 1 mana short of Shieldreding. Does Vraska do anything here? No. Okay. I can go for this Throat, and then go for this Throat, and put them to 1. Hope I didn't just miss damage with my creature lands. Liliana minus isn't getting any better here. This steady lifelink is tough. Alright. They are fully operational. I forgot that this Broken Sky gives the back end of all of their herd migration lifelink. I think if I just take this and let them leyline bind me off that duress earlier, I've won this game already. Whoops. This is why we test. Archangel of Wrath, this card's so fucked. This kills Liliana and one of my bats and unlocks 2 cards and they gain 4 life. It's over. It's over. Passive life gain. Remember when they were at 1? Now they're at 16. I still have a handful of cards though. I still have a Splinter Twin combo somewhere in my deck. Restless Cottage is not it. And Childred is big. And I can go for the throat this Angel. Now I think I want to hold back Go for the Throat as a surprise. Let them commit to something. And then I feel like Childred is now my plan to win this game. Or draw an Innkeeper's Talent before I lose. Okay, never mind. I'll just kill this Angel. Flying, lifelink, steady, application of pressure. Too good. Oh no, Atrax is here. This is what this deck's really about. Childred chews them up a little bit on the Up the Beanstalk triggers, but Traxa gets 10 looks at an answer to Childred. And there's Leyline Binding, there's Kaya, yeah, okay. We're good. Yeah, I really didn't respect the backside of this, and that was my downfall here. I just read this as a 5 mana path to Leyline Binding instead of actually a game-ending back-end card. And I guess I can't give up yet. They just temporary lockdown, which removed all of their attackers. Interesting. They can attack me for 9 next turn. If I draw Innkeeper's Talent right now, I can still win this game. I did not do that. Okay, GG. My bad. Lesson learned. Duress coming in. Terra Sunder coming in. Grillback. Nissa. Just all this big grindy shit. I don't think I actually want more Lilianas. Gix can kill an Atraxa and get me 2 game objects back. I'm not sure if I want that. But we've got Cut Down. It's completely blank. Go for the Throat. Not very good. Yeah, I actually think Liliana is mid here. I want to focus on twinning this deck. They draw so many cards. And they don't really have creatures in a traditional sense. Okay, this is my sideboard plan. Hope it works. Duress, no green source. This is risky. I do have Dread Whispers. All right, I'll keep this. I get to draw 3 cards before I miss a land drop. Duress you on this Malta 6. Heaped Harvest, negate. Negate's pretty good. Heaped Harvest, though, turns on all this other stuff. All right, I'm taking negate. That's the one I'm most worried about. If I could just resolve my Planeswalkers, we'll have a plan. I drew another Swamp. That lets me Whisper. There we go. Green source secured. Okay, they have come up with 4 land types already. That Leyline Binding looking good in their hand. JK. Leyline Binding is leaving their hand probably. This thing again. Heaped Harvest actually might be my take here. Let's see. The Leyline Binding answers whatever permanent I put into play first. The Heaped Harvest turns on the rest of their deck. I think I might just respect the invasion this time and call it what it is and put it in the graveyard. Dreadknight. I'm going to play that. See if it's worth a Leyline Binding to them. There's Plains. Heaped Harvest. Yeah, this Rampant Growth's on the way in and on the way out, and you gain 3 life in between. Very cool card. But you know what else is a cool card? Duress. Okay, their hand is 2 lands right now, which means I can drop this Innkeeper's Talent, start applying pressure. This isn't the real pressure, though, and playing on 1 green, and it's a painful green, is painful in other ways as well. So I did have an extra mana there that I couldn't level up Talent with. Restless Cottage, I like you. Just going to go to combat. I can level up after combat, and it's mostly the same. They have so much mana, I can't imagine Ward 1 is going to be the difference maker. Level this up. We're probably going to see them heap their harvest in the end step. I am approaching Splinter Twin, though. There's the island. 2 cards in hand. I don't know either of them. Archangel of Wrath. The double kicker does kill Mosswood Dreadknight. No, it doesn't. It has ward. You have to go face with these. Sick. All right, the ward actually mattered. I like that. Good news for me. And I'm gonna level this up. Put Twin on the old Stackaroonie here. Let them know they're dead next turn. Leyline Binding does solve this problem for them, though, if they just sandbag a Binding. because they could wait till Vraska's on the stack and then bind that, and then I have this kind of shitty permanent in play. By the way, shout out to Magic Online prices and accessibility of cards. Innkeeper's Talent is like $27 in real life, and it's like 2 tickets on Magic Online. Vraska also like $18 in real life, 1.5 tickets on Magic Online. There's way more packs being opened, and they are immediately accessible on the same marketplace compared to being all over the physical earth in paper. I get a massive 7/6 creature that's going to keep crashing here. I like any land drop they make. That's a spell they don't have. And they have 14 life because they can attack with this thing. The Mosswood Dreadknight is big enough that it's worth respecting on the race. But also, I have this I win the game button in my hand. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to start by attacking for 9. They're at 5. And then I'll just twin you. Apply this one first. So this is actually important, and if you're going to play on Magic Online, when you're stacking triggers, the one you click first happens last, but these are replacement effects that happen instantly when you click them. So you want to click the first one first. Bang. Okay, Splinter Twin in a game that we were in pretty good shape anyway, but I don't rely on creatures ever versus Domain. They're just so good at beating creatures, as we saw game 1. Duress MVP. I mean, drawing 3 of them. Good job, me. But also, that card's just really good in the matchup. Yeah, I think this is the configuration I want. Play draw has not changed my opinion on this. In we go. Domain is an awesome deck, and it's also a very me deck. Just dirtling around, playing up the Beanstalk, hard casting Atraxa as your primary plan. I like that a lot, but I have not selected it despite it being legal in all of the standard tournaments I've played in the last 2 years. I can't explain it. Some things are inexplicable. I would like to just draw lands for the next 5 turns. It's kind of what I want going on here. Cavern on Angel, because that is the Battle Angel we've seen, and also Atraxa. Okay. My wish to draw lands has started. Deepcavern Bat, let's get our first look. Virtue of Persistence, Leyline Binding, Sunfall. Okay. Virtue of Persistence is the cleanest answer to this. I don't really want to play against Sunfall. I mean, Virtue is a sorcery, though, and Binding's an instant. They can have 4 land types with 2 mana up. I'm going to take Binding and see if they get greedy. If they don't just slam Virtue... Oh, but they also can't slam Virtue. Okay. They would need an untapped Black Source, which they're not currently representing. And I could just curve my way up here, taking multiple cards, especially with Duress. The cat's ass, Duress. I'm going to make Sunfall Gone, and then I'm going to bat the Virtue. Yeah, they're pretty far from that Atraxa. Okay, I've mostly gotten what I wanted. If I draw a land next turn, and I can Furl back, clear this Beanstalk, that would be sick. Or I could just double spell. Okay, I might want to Dreadknight. Yeah, I'm going to Dread Whispers and try to just hit my land drop here. We did it. Which lets me Talent. Get that party started. Applying pressure, gaining life. Let's go. Next turn, if I clear up the Beanstalk, that cuts out an engine, and then they have to beat me with the cards they have straight up. I think I'm going to save this bat until the point where they could cast Atraxa next turn. Oh, they have Nissa. I just saw them pay Phyrexian mana. Okay, are they going to start pooping 4/4s or kill my Talent? They killed my Talent. Sure. That's fair. That is a reasonable use of Nissa. Speaking of reasonable uses of things, I'm going to pay 1 green for this. And I'm going to select Destroy Target Enchantment. I hope. Oh God. Okay. How does this work? Wow. There's a lot of clicks to resolve that on Magic Online. Because it's an ETB trigger that then asks you to pay mana, and then once all of that resolves, you then make a modal choice. Okay, sure. Whatever gets you there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know they have land number 6. This is the turn I'm going to bat them and hopefully strip the Atraxa and not look at a Wrath in their hand. There's the Cavern. Also on Angel. Uh-oh. Oh no. They have the thing. They're going to unlock their whole hand here. That was a really good draw. Bummer. I now feel like I'm a little bit in trouble. So I think I have to at least start by batting the Atraxa out of their hand. Negate, Leyline Binding. All right, take Atraxa. Innkeeper's Talent under the negate. Oh, I could have tapped... Shit. This creature could have ward right now. I did not plan that out well enough. Sloppy. Gotta tighten that up if I want to win that Urza Saga on game day. That was their draw for the turn. We know their hand is 2 removal spells and a counter. That's bad. Mill, Jace, the Persistent Mind, Perfected Mind. Interesting they brought that in against me. I guess if they think I can't win with combat, that's a reasonable win con, which is true. They just left all their mana up. There's Vraska, who is not going to resolve. They level up talent, and I'm going to go to combat. I put a counter on Bat. Try to just spread the ward around. Attack with all my creatures. There's the Binding. They want the Bat. Binding being gone is good because that was their answer to Innkeeper's Talent. And if they slam Atraxa next turn, they die. I'm going to level up talent and just... Maybe that dissuades them from casting Atraxa. And if it doesn't, we win. Fingers crossed. They don't have a mountain, so even if Atraxa hits untapped white source plus Leyline Binding, that's a 2-mana spell. And I have this Nissa who can also test the counters. Oh no. Well, now they can hit Leyline Binding off Atraxa and be fine. Just mountain raw from the hand. That was the one unknown they drew at this turn. I wonder how many of those they play. I bet it's 1. Okay, they're going for Atraxa. Just don't reveal Leyline Binding right now. God. Rip the mountain, hit the binding. Easy game for them. Hate my life. That sucks. And they played to their outs, and it worked out well. Like, they could have just held up negate and got bashed for 6 this turn, and they did not do that. So, good job, opponent. What a nightmare. Okay. Yep. That mountain. And we knew they drew that randomly. We had perfect info. I'm not on tilt. I'm just appreciating the hilarity that the Magic gods occasionally deliver their news. All right. I mean, maybe they'll fuck up. I'll just cast Vraska. Okay. You win. I guess I'll wait for them to choose their target. Okay. You don't necessarily win. I could just make Atraxa into a treasure. Attack for 4. All right. I will play out the game as if this matters. They have 2 negates and Virtual Persistence in their hand at this point. It's just a matter of time. They can clear Vraska in combat. Yeah, trying to beat this deck with a 4/4 is just not viable at all. You need to do something huge. Either curve out way faster than that, or disrupt them way better than I did. Herd Migration, yep. Conveniently negate still up. Dread Whispers. Can we get them on the hook for a negate here? That would be so aggressive and terrible. All right, they've won this game. The probably one of Basic Mountain off the tippity top into revealing Leyline Binding off of Atraxa. The perfect run, but they did fend it off. GG's opponent onto the final round.
We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league.
I'm on the play in the final round. Positive record on the line. I'm going to keep my hand. It's got lands, all my colors, spells to cast. Perfect. I have the full twin combo lined up. I haven't heard anyone complaining about this. I just had the intrusive thought. So I haven't actually heard anyone seriously complaining about this standard legal Splinter Twin deck. But how funny would it be if I recorded this because I'm expecting a ban update in all the formats I play, and then like Vraska gets banned on Monday? That would be so sick. Okay. Looks like we're playing against Domain again. And I'm going to get the talent going. I could have just played Mosswood Dreadknight and saddled the horse, but I don't think that's important compared to really getting my engines running here. I'd rather Dread Whispers with the Dreadknight. And with the twin lined up here, I want to get that thing leveling. Herd Migration. If they have to main phase Herd Migration just to hit land drops... Oh, they didn't, though. Interesting. Oh, they did, because if they want to play this, if they end up keeping the card and then shuffle it away, that was good sequencing. Tight. Opponents know what they're doing in this league. That's not fair to me. Okay, level this. Play Glissa. Saddle the horse. She just doesn't need to be untapped. Saddle 3. Move to combat. I'm gonna put a ward bubble on Glissa. And in we go. Flip a big one. Go for the throat. Take 2, sucker. We got him. It's important to remember, I could conceivably see this happening. The levels on class enchantments are not counters, but people are going to represent them with dice or counters in paper. And this particular class says permanents you control with counters on them have ward 1. Just make sure you don't think this gives itself ward in paper. That's a good one. All right. I'm going to fetch a swamp to rest my opponent and see how things look on the way through this Innkeeper's talent. This way I don't have to sink 4 mana into this if they're just going to remove it. Wow, Get Lost kills enchantments. Leyline Binding also kills enchantments. Sunfall is a full sweep situation next turn. I'm going to take Sunfall. Make them deal with my creatures. Okay, take Sunfall. Now do I want to Dread Whispers? Yeah, I think I can Dread Whisper into Dreadknight. Yeah, okay. Dread Whispers into Dreadknight, saddle the horse, make them think that I care about all this, and spend their removal on this stuff instead of on the Splinter Twin that I'm forming. They are responding to Dreadknight with a spell. 2 mana in the pool. They realize they don't have to do that yet. Saddle my Bronco. And now they can make decisions based on where I put my counters. I'm actually going to put it on Dreadknight because that makes it so Archangel can't kill any of my creatures individually. And that 1 extra damage doesn't really affect the race that I'm on here. Okay, a 3 mana Get Lost for Glissa. Gives me some maps. And then I get to Bronk my way in. Gotcha for 0. Sucker. Okay. Get Lost is gone. Leyline Binding, Archangel, Mountain, Swamp in the hand. There's Mountain, Leyline cost 1, 2, 3, 4, cost 2 right now. Draw for turn. Multiple go for the throats. That card's not very good. If I level Innkeeper's talent, my maps are even more potent. I'm going to play Swamp and then get this up. If they choose to Leyline Bind this, I'll just bash for 7+. Map onto the Bronco. Oh, they drew another Get Lost. That's annoying. Well, that's perfect for you. Map onto Bronco. They can bind this, and that fizzles the Explorer as well. Sometimes you set up a whole master plan, and then opponent has a card that makes it all fall apart. It's all good. That's magic. And I will pass the turn. Yeah, if they hadn't drawn a second removal spell there to clear the talent, then they're priced into my creatures. I like that play. I just don't like how it worked out. Yeah, I can Whisper out of my graveyard. Shieldred, I like you. Let's bat, see what's left over there. Herd Migration, Cavern of Souls. And do I want to kill the Archangel or play the Dreadknight? I think I want to just kill the Archangel. I don't want them starting to grind their way back in. Like, if I can get a nickel-and-dime damage deck, I have these 2 4/4 creature lands waiting as well. Please don't cast Attracts right now. I'll lose my damn mind. Okay, up the Beanstalk. And it's not really okay, it's a redraw. That makes all their cards into double cantrips. Okay, Fabled Passage. I'm going to attack with my lifelink creature first. It's got to hope that card in their hand is a blank. Forgot to map, but that's okay. Mosswood Dreadknight. Cast that. Shieldred. Here you are. Build post-combat map. You love to see it. I'm going to target Dreadknight. Cut down. Yeah, get rid of that, please. Fabled Passage. Fetch. Get a forest. And map onto Dreadknight again. Okay. Jeez. Jeez. This deck is so good. Why am I not playing it? Okay, they do take 4 from casting Leyline Binding, but they also draw 2, and all their cards are double cantrips. They have enough mana to Sunfall and activate the thing to chump block. I can go for the Throat and Atraxa and just keep pushing damage. They're casting an Angel. Oh, not that one! Not that one, you sicko. Hey, this is why I put a counter on Dreadknight, though. We're getting paid for that. Because putting the counter on the bat doesn't get it out of range of this. Okay. Go for the Throat this thing. I could now attack for 8 or stick a Vraska and start drawing cards. I'm going to try to draw cards here. Or I'm going to pay the max as well. Draw a card, lose 1, proliferate. This also makes Dreadknight bigger and puts a counter on Vraska. She can proliferate herself. Isn't that fun? Deploy another creature land, put my opponent to 6, hope that we're in position here. I can beat an Atraxa. Herd Migration is a little tougher. 5 3/3s. I do have a pretty big trample creature here. Swamp was not the draw I was looking for. Vraska, what do you do here? I can draw a card, make Mosswood Dreadknight bigger. I could just turn one of these beasts into a treasure, which might turn on Leyline Binding. As we've learned, your opponents always have infinite of those. I think I want to draw a card and proliferate. Is there anything I can do that's clever with a proliferate here? No? Alright. Draw a card, lose life, proliferate. 1, 2. Liliana's not bad. I can pay 2 life to make a fish. That might come up. No, it won't. Alright. Liliana. Slurp up one of those beasts. I currently have a 6 power creature. They have to double block that to kill it. Then they can also double block my cottage. I might need cottage on defense, but I can put them down to 1 beast versus my 2 planeswalkers, but then they kill one of the planeswalkers on the backswing. Caustic Bronco can stay back as a chump. Okay. I'm making my attacks. Exile. Have we seen ways for them to get cards back from the graveyard? Sick of this Angel. I'm going to exile that. I imagine we're going to see 2 double blocks here. They're going to be left with a beast. I'll play Caustic Bronco. This puts Dread Whispers in the bank for next turn as well. I'm going to play the Bronc, which is not exciting here, but if I can get Vraska proliferating Liliana up, then she can also remove a creature next turn. Vraska's almost at 9, just natural ultimate. And if I can ultimate this Vraska, then this one can proliferate up to 10 poison. These don't have trample, do they? Nope, just blank. I am going to block. I think the removal in their deck is so good that I'd rather be without a creature than without an extra planeswalker. Yeah, look, they're just gaining a bunch of life here and stuff. Another heaped harvest. That is a heaping harvest. And they're get losting my Vraska at the end of that. Still had all these. Okay. I have a backup Vraska though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. 6, 79, 10, 5. Alright. I can afford 2 Dread Whispers. Another Vraska. I could plus them to Hellbent. That actually sounds sick. Yeah, plus Liliana. Now that I have Glissa in the mix. Okay. Glissa. 1, 2, 3. Llanowar Waste. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could pay 2 life to get a Vraska in. That sounds good to me. Backup Vraska. Proliferate. That ups Liliana. Okay. If they draw a Leyline Binding, clear my blocker, draw 2 cards, we are in the garbage. If they top deck a land, we are doing great. They're going to, in their upkeep, sack both their heaped harvests, which is going to take 2 lands out of the pool of potential cards they might draw. Little deck thinning. Okay, they went with 1, but not 2. Oh, they drew a spell. Oh no, they're just heaping their harvest again. Please just pass the turn without anything. Yeah, okay. They drew a land. And they milled away a Lush Portico. Saying there's a chance. 1, 2, 3, 4, activate. 1, 2, 3, 4, activate. This is not quite lethal. You're going to sack a creature. Wait, what's under here? Caustic Bronco, Shieldred. Oh, this is lethal. All right. No, we win. Cool. Activate Restless Cottage. Activate Restless Cottage. This is 11 damage. And we can destroy target enchantment, freeing the Shieldred, and then they die in their draw step. Cool. We did it. That was game 1. Nice. Bring in the duresses. Got all the spot removal. Liliana was good that game, but I'm still not convinced. 1 Liliana versus 1 go for the throat is the last decision I'm making here. And if I get Innkeeper's Talent up, ultimating Liliana is going to be sick, but I think go for the throat, just clearing the one of Atraxa or the one angel that's in my way or something is probably more useful. So a curve full of donkeys here. Keep it. 2, 3, 4, and the mana to do it. Bonus on 6. 2, 3, 4, 5. The curve is filling out perfectly. Let's see how well they can answer my threats on curve. That's the real question. Up the beanstalk. Bronk. Little up the beanstalk of my own. Cavern of Souls. That's a pretty bad land to have this early, unless they have some sideboard pivot. Yeah, there's 3/3 frillback, no kicker, sure. I mean, that does mess up the turn I wanted to play, but it's also not a card I'm impressed by after they took a mulligan as well. Because Cavern of Souls not only is a colorless mana, it is not part of Domain, which affects multiple cards in their deck. Okay. I'll show you how to frill back. Pay a green. Done. Put my trigger on the stack. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. I know how to do this now. Take that out. They did not Leyline Bind on the way out, and then I'm going to attack with my first strike Death Touch monster. Start getting that value. A block. Yeah, they just spent 3 mana on a creature that went to the graveyard, generating no card advantage on the way through. If they Sunfall this turn, I can shove Vraska. Okay, yep, that was pretty good. Good follow-up. I'm going to Vraska here. Start drawing cards. I'm not going to proliferate their Incubator token. Okay. Hedge Maze. That is an island in the domain now. They're only missing Swamp. Get lost. She will get lost. Phyrexian token is attacking. I think I want to Whisper here. That's just card advantage and a way to beat the onboard Phyrexian, and it's also somewhere to put my maps. Map, just draw 2. Okay. Probably should have craft Fabled Passage. Just thin that out a little bit. That's all it does. Okay, block. I can Whisper again next turn. If they shove Atraxa onto this empty board, I can turn her into a treasure, but they are going to have a handful of cards from the Atraxa. Bird Migration, maybe worse. Only 4 beasts, though. I have exactly enough mana to Whisper and play the Knight and play Glissa. I will do the Fabled Passage. Better late than never. I've just drawn 3 cards since it was possible to get that Swamp out of my deck. 2 cards in their hand. Hope they're not removal spells. That one's not a removal spell. 1 card left. They kept it on top, though. They're tapping mana. They're tapping both Cavern of Souls. Oh, Sunfall, wow. They decided to have a bigger Incubator token than deal 6 to me. And that's certainly allowed. Vraska will have 7 loyalty, because I'm going to pay all actual mana for this. Draw a card, lose a life, proliferate onto Vraska. Ooh. Somebody drew Innkeeper's Talent. I will deploy that. Okay. They have a 6/6. They can put me to 5. I can turn that 6/6 into a treasure. And they have whatever they just kept on top of their deck. Probably Atraxa, the way they're tapping. Yep. They did overpay, which means they're not floating a mana when they could have been. Okay, these are the 5 cards they kept. And they're using the Fabled Passage, which can cast Get Lost. I assume there's another Plains in this deck. Getting Lost the Vraska. Good call. That lets you attack me real good. Okay, it costs 1 million here, but I have a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm actually 1 short of twinning them here. Yeah, it costs 5 to bring this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it costs 5 to cast Vraska, and I have 9. So close. Okay, GG. Game 3. Yeah, that was a image of what this matchup looks like with 0 hand disruption. I didn't bat them, didn't duress them, and they just cast all their spells, and their spells were very strong. Okay, same deck, let's get it. And here are multiple discard spells. Keep. I will duress you. Start there. 2 bindings, Get Lost, Heaped Harvest. I will take the Get Lost. That's the most reliable removal spell they have. There are only 2 land types represented in their hand right now. And I'm going to bat probably the Heaped Harvest. I mean, we'll see what's in their hand. But, oh, double Heaped Harvest. Well, that sucks. I guess I'll take a Leyline Binding then. Yeah, I can't stop both of those from happening. There's the other Portico. Still only 2 land types in play, though. It's a good chance Glissa's going to get at least one connection in. Drawing these tap lands is a little stinky. If they have a basic, not these lands, they could just bind, but they don't. So got to watch out for Leyline Binding next turn. But Glissa is going to get a connection through. Another tap land. I'll draw a card, then see what happens. Let's destroy target. It's enchantment. It's not artifact or enchantment. Okay. I will draw a card. Tap lands killing me here, ruining my life. They just passed without a play and without a land drop. That's all big news. That means they're going to spend 3 mana on a Leyline Binding and don't really have anything else to do. Okay, they're heaping Harvest. This gets another land type, which makes the binding cost 2. Good sequencing. And here's the binding in response to the gain 3 life, just for style. And then Dread Whispers plus Dreadknight. Oh, Bronco might be better than Dreadknight to have in play. Okay, Restless Cottage, Bronco. Keep those cards flowing. We know Heaped Harvest, and there's 4 cards we don't know at this point. Nissa can free Glissa with the disenchant mode. Sunfall, okay. Incubator tokens are also artifacts and enchantments. These tap lands. All right, Nissa's coming in. She comes in on 3 because I paid 2 Phyrexian, and that's how completed works. I'm going to destroy Leyline Binding because Glissa can block the Incubator. If they have a removal spell plus the ability to flip, then Nissa is cleared, but we did draw out that play at least. There's that Harvest that we knew about. There's Mountain, Plains, so many lands. And of course Leyline Binding, because as we've learned over the last 2 matches, they always have Leyline Binding in their hand, no matter how many cards we know and how many Leyline Bindings they've already used this game. This is dead. Innkeeper's Talent. Happy to see that. We did it. We drew a good card. Talent. Level it. Moss Knight. Blooming Marsh. 4/3 with Ward. We're falling behind here. It's bad. If I just had an untapped land in all of those draws, Nissa would have come in on 5 loyalty instead of 3 and would have survived that Phyrexian attack. If they just didn't have a removal spell, she would have been fine. There's just so many ways this could have broke the other way, but this deck is doing its damn thing. And now they have a frill back with extra mana. Get to clear my talent. Maybe they'll choose to gain 4 life. They didn't. Unlucky. Deepcavern bat right on time. There are 2 cards left in their hand. I would like to know what they are. They're going to Leyline Binding in response. I can smell it from a mile away. Okay, that didn't happen. Herd Migration and Atraxa. Atraxa is worse for me than Herd Migration, though they're both terrible. Black, colorless, green, something else, Restless Cottage. I'm going to attack with 2 4-power creatures here. I'll take Sunfall out of their graveyard. Making the double block, I'll kill the dinosaur. Second main, play my land. This is all we got now. Hoping to hold the fort versus 5 3/3s. 5 3/3s, they also draw a card from Up the Beanstalk. In for 2, you got it. Shoulder the Apocalypse, among the best possible draws. I'll take it. I'm going to attack with the Dreadknight. I think clearing a beast here is really good, and I get to draw a card and gain that life back with Shoulder it immediately. Only blocking with 1. You'll notice my opponent last round blocked with all their beasts, because Dreadknight has trample. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shouldred, Dread Whispers, net 1 life, and we hit a land, which means I can also play the 3-power body back in. All right, we're by the skin of our teeth once again, but Shouldred is the type of thing that can win a game by the skin of your teeth. They have another Heaped Harvest in play. That's another 3 life and another land right now. 1 unknown mystery card in their hand. Lush Portico. If they just don't play a spell here, I'm actually gonna feel like we might have a chance. But they're tapping millions of mana instead. Another Herd Migration, okay. They lose 2 life from Up the Beanstalk by casting that, but they do have massive board presence now. Get lost, come on! And that just cantripped off of the thing. Oh my god. I understand they're drawing multiple cards a turn. I'm not actually upset, but can't catch a break here. I'm wondering right now why I'm interested in this twin deck. Maybe I should just play Domain at the Store Champs. Pretty sure I have no outs here, but I am gonna keep casting Dread Whispers till I die. All right, GG. We did not come up with a positive record. That's okay. I learned a lot. I definitely did not respect the invasion of Tolvanda. Is that what that was? That black-white invasion in the first domain matchup. We could have got out of there with a 2-0 victory if I had just understood that better, which is why we test. And then both domain opponents ripped like monsters as the game went long. But that's what that deck is meant to do. It's just every card is good at some point. I'm not married to this deck, though it is what I was planning on playing at the Store Champs. I have all the cards for domain. I might explore that instead. We certainly twinned people. Like the Vraska thing happened multiple times, and in games that we were probably not winning otherwise. It is a very serious thing. Like, the thing about Splinter Twin, like the actual deck Splinter Twin, is that if you sit back and hold removal for the card Splinter Twin, you will die to Snapcaster Mage, Pestermite, and Lightning Bolt. And we did get a sense of that with this deck, as Caustic Bronco drawing cards, Glissa drawing cards, Deepcavern Bat taking your cards, gaining me life, Dreadknight drawing cards, all of them getting bigger steadily. That is all happening. Like, this was a deck last season, last standard season, before we had Innkeeper's talent and before there was a combo at the top end. Like, Golgari's stuff was just already a deck. And getting to put a win the game from any position button into a deck that was already fine is powerful for sure. I understand why this is the most popular deck. I will probably explore other builds of the deck, like the LSV BK build that has like more combos and more value engines in it. And of course I'll explore domain. That, like I was saying, that's an entirely me deck, and I just got handled by it twice. This was a lot of fun. I like exploring other formats. I think standard rules these days, and like I said at the top of the video, standard is getting a $50,000 tournament with Pro Tour invites. That smells like a Grand Prix to me. Everyone, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed standard. I'm not going to do a lot of this, but I do like being able to hit the button and know that people aren't going to revolt in the streets about it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.